What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of At Home with Mark. We are season 12, 5 episodes deep, which is crazy. I cannot believe it's been 12 seasons. But so I called Tom, not called Tom. I reached out to Tom via Instagram. I've been watching your stuff forever, Tom. And I was like, would you be interested in doing this? And you're like, yes. So I thank you for that. I really appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to talking to you. It's great to get to know you, but thank you for being on the show.
Oh man, thank you. It's an honor. I've looked through your videos and all the guest list is absolutely incredible. And you're just such a great musician. I love watching all the stuff you post, all the gigs and stuff, and it's awesome, man. I'm happy to be here. It's really cool. Thank you.
That's very sweet of you, Tom. Well, let's gush about you because that's what this is about. I want to get to know you and get to know what's going on in your world. But I always ask, this is my first question. You've probably seen me ask this before, but what is your earliest musical memory?
Ooh, okay. My earliest musical memory, I'll separate it into two parts. One will be the earliest live music experience, but which is sort of related to the earliest music memory, which is being obsessed with Michael Jackson and the Bad album and putting on shows in my parents' living room, my living room, I guess, with a brick hearth fireplace as the stage. And then there's pictures of foam taped on it because my 2-year-old sister was going to smash her head on it. But, so that's I remember it. I remember like people had jobs. Like I had to have somebody on the lights and then somebody doing the music. And
big family. You have a bunch of brothers and sisters?
No, I have one sister who had to endure that.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, relatively small family. But that's the earliest music memory. That was like the first thing where it's like, okay, this is, and then my parents knew too, because they were like, wow, he is really into this. And there's a variety of other artists around that time too that I was super into. And then that led to my parents, which I always say like it's either like the best parents or the worst parents, because they took me to see Michael Jackson in 1989 when I was 4.5. So,
what?
Yeah, so I got to see dude, I mean, like Greg Fillinganes was on stage, Sheryl Crow was on stage, and Michael Jackson, obviously. So it was a wild experience. So that's the earliest. It's all MJ related. So
wow, okay.
Yeah.
So here's a follow-up to that, because I'm wondering, for a lot of people, obviously the first time we hear music or there's something that resonates with us, I mean, is MJ still like a big part of your love of music, do you think? Or
yeah, I mean, it's like I don't listen to it regularly, but it definitely is. I mean, there's so many elements to his music as well. There's like just tons of his first rock guitar stuff that I was introduced to was Beat It and Dirty Diana. So and then there's obviously I grew up in the Detroit metro area, so Motown and that all runs really deep. So I think there's definitely like a rhythmic like groove thing. I don't think it's necessarily shown up in the music that I've performed or written, but it's
really,
yeah, I mean, maybe it has, but I mean, like internally, I think it takes up a lot more space than you might expect coming out, because the other part of my early music love was musicals. It was like Michael Jackson and then the Phantom of the Opera soundtrack. So like those two things were like my musical childhood initially. So kind of not a lot of crossover there, but yeah, but I mean, the musical theater stuff definitely still shows up, but the MJ stuff, I admire a lot of what goes on in that music, and it's I aspire and admire to be something along those lines. So,
what do you love about musicals? Because I had a experience when I was a kid. The first time I watched The Music Man with my mom.
Yeah,
I was very, very little, and like the old movie. And I remember seeing that, and there was something to me that I feel like the music in that. I mean, I have that on vinyl. I love the music in that musical. But my mom was a fan of that, and I guess I watched Oklahoma with her at some point. But what is it about musicals that resonates so heavily with you?
I think I mean, because being a child of the 80s and 90s, like it was represented to me just through audio at first. So it's like I didn't quite realize, I think early on, that listening to the Bad album or Thriller was any different than listening to disc 1 of Phantom of the Opera. It's like, it's like,
Mhm.
oh, this is different type of music, but I wasn't seeing, the visual representation, and a lot of, dialogue and stuff is cut out of cast recordings and highlights and stuff like that. So I think, like, initially it really was the music. And I distinctly remember just the harmony and the chord progressions that existed in, a couple of the Phantom of the Opera tunes that were just like, it made me feel like, I was like, what is that? I love when it does this. I love when it goes from here to here. What is that sound? Like, that was kind of what really drew me to it. And then it wasn't until later that the narrative and the on stage telling of a story became, like, once I discovered that part of it later, I was like, oh my God, like, there's this amazing music, and that, like, and like,
Mhm.
and there's an orchestra playing this stuff. Like, oh my God, it's just like, what could be better? So it took a while, though, honestly, because it was, I'm not going to say that I'm like a theater connoisseur, but um, it for a long time I kind of like loved that, like Les Mis and Phantom, because, obviously the time,
Mhm.
those were huge. And then I sort of left it and then just went full into pop rock, singer songwriter stuff until, you know, probably mid 20s. Then I kind of began to appreciate theater and musicals a
Yeah.
little bit more. So
I mean, there's so much, like, intelligent, like you were saying, like, harmonic structure to that music, and I've definitely stolen stuff from, like, different ideas about how to modulate and,
yeah,
like, in my own music from that stuff because it's so hip.
yeah,
Um, and I remember seeing the thing that I remember the most about Music Man is the, barbershop quartet stuff,
yeah.
and I just like, the pure, like, veracity of which you can take 4 individuals and create music with the feeling that there is something else there. There's a groove, there is a beat, there is something happening, but there's a bass line, there's the chords, there's the melody,
Yeah.
and it's just 4 people. And I remember being so struck by that, like, "Oh my gosh, humans can do that?"
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
then, kinda getting a little bit older, and when I got into Fish and was, like, going to see Fish, and then they started doing barbershop quartet stuff, it brought everything back, and I was just
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god," like, all these people who I admire probably are also pulling and later finding out that Trey Anastasio pulls a lot from classical music and a lot from musicals, and it's just it makes sense to me that anyone that is a great musician would be exposing themselves to all these different mediums of music.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I love hearing stuff like that. Like, my knowledge of Trey and Fish is like, it's definitely nowhere near yours, but like, it's so, I didn't know that. Like, how cool is that? And I've
Mhm.
obviously heard them do, a ton of 4-part vocal harmony stuff. And it's like, it's cool to know that he's got that in his bag,
Yeah, it's
trick. Not
crazy.
surprising by any means, though.
No, 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 no. He's
Yeah.
he's a wizard, and regardless of what people think of that band, because my wife doesn't like Fish, she's like, "Oh god." But, I think that there's a depth that people just, like, might overlook, and that's one of the things.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah.
it's not like they're, amazing singers, like, I'm not saying that they're the singers of all singers, they're no
Right.
Donny Hathaway,
Right.
but, like but they get a job done.
Yeah.
Um,
No, and they go for it. I mean, it's cool. They're adventurous, like,
yeah, fly your freak flag, man.
yeah, man.
Um, so Tom, as far as, like, records, though, like, when you started getting, like, more into music, when you were just talking about, like, singer-songwriters and stuff, I mean, did you grow up like I did, like, listening to classic rock stuff first, like Zeppelin and The Who and things like that, and then graduating, or how did that kind of traverse to the singer-songwriter stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess this wouldn't technically be singer-songwriter stuff, but, like, early, I like in my house, like, especially on my mom's side, like, my mom, my uncle are both like, George Harrison is their guy. Like, I was raised like, he is the Beatle. And I still think that, I made my own decision, but he's still my favorite. So a lot of that. And then, I mean, Stormfront by Billy Joel. I remember that tape was literally, I think it was literally stuck, like, physically stuck in my dad's car. Like, so we would listen to that quite a bit. I love that record. So yeah, I mean, like, that was sort of, and then, like, when I discovered Traveling Wilburys, I was like, oh wait, what? Like all of these guys are, it's not just George, like there's all these other guys. And that was kind of like the, if I was gonna write it down, like I think that's how it kind of happened. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you play keys too?
That was my first instrument. Yeah. So I started on piano. Um I'm told I wanted to, and I wasn't, like, it wasn't forced, which I, based on my other childhood music activities, I believe. And I took lessons, probably for like 8 or 10 years.
Oh
But
wow.
once I picked up guitar, like it sort of, the interest waned a little bit because I was like, wait, I can play all these songs on guitar. Like I'm learning classical stuff on the piano. I should be way better than I am. For piano, like I'm fine. Like no one's gonna hire me to play, but I can accompany. I always equate it to like, somebody who just strums the acoustic guitar and accompanies themselves singing. Like I can strum the piano and accompany myself while singing, but no one's hiring me to be a piano player anytime soon. So
If you could though, let's just say you had the facility on the piano, if not more than you do on guitar, and you had to choose between those two instruments, which instrument would you choose?
ooh, um, so I have unlimited ability on either one. Is that?
Unlimited ability on either one. Yeah, they're a matched playing field. But
Yeah, man. That's interesting. I honestly, the gut answer would have been piano, like because I just feel like it's so versatile and it's so. But I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one for me.
dude, I say it all the time. I mean, if I could play piano like Bruce Hornsby, I would never
Yeah.
touch a guitar again.
Yeah, I might. I feel like that's kind of like I'm being pulled towards piano. I think on that answer. Yeah.
It's funny because piano players always have guitar envy, and I feel like guitar
Yeah.
players always have piano
Oh,
envy.
absolutely,
You
absolutely.
know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's kind of like the thing of like, and this is a video you did for Premier Guitar I saw a while back, but like the vibrato thing, like they
Oh yeah.
all piano players want to have that vibrato and the
Yeah.
bending of notes like we
Yeah.
do. And then
Yeah.
we just want to be able to create a beautiful canvas of music like they can as like an orchestra with two
Yeah.
hands, you know?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I guess we can, like, as guitarists, I had a conversation with Wayne Krantz about this when I got to interview him. And we were talking about that. And he said, well, the guitar can be an orchestra. Like, there's tons of counterpoint that you can do on this
Yeah.
instrument. You just got to put the time in. You know?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I guess.
Like, nah, I'll just play pentatonic scale. I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah, right. But it's true, man. It's like I feel like that always happens. And the
Yeah.
keyboard player in my band, we always talk about that stuff, is because there's a couple times where we switch.
Oh, cool.
And it's the same thing. It's like when I get to the piano, I'm not as good as him on that. I can't do all the things he can do. When he gets the guitar, he can't do all the things I can do.
Yeah.
But
Right.
we have fun, and
Yeah.
that's the point.
Yeah. Man.
All right, so let's talk about, so since you kind of are getting to the singer-songwriter world through Billy Joel, I guess, even though if the tape was stuck in the car,
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Billy's the man. Did you see that documentary, by the way, on
I
HBO?
haven't yet.
Tom.
I know, and I love Billy Joel. I should say it was not a punishment to have that tape stuck in there. Like I think it was stuck because I chose to put it there, and then for whatever reason, it just never came back out. So
you should check it out. I mean,
know it's on my list. It's on my list.
so good. I watched it on vacation last summer, like at night, like when we were all going to bed, just on my iPad, and like every night I was like looking forward to getting back to watch that. It's really, really good. So tell me a little bit about your relationship with like singer-songwriter genre, because I think that could be interpreted a bunch of different ways for people. And even though I would put John Mayer in that camp, I would also kind of harken back to like, what are the roots of that, is like, James Taylor or whoever. So like, what is the impetus for you in that genre?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that attracted me to the genre is, I mentioned the Traveling Wilburys, and obviously everybody who makes up that band in some way, shape, or form, I think could be considered a singer-songwriter. And then Billy Joel, and I love the idea of like and this is gonna sound like I don't play well or play nice with others, like, but I do. At least I think I do. But like I've always been more drawn to singer-songwriters or just artists than bands in a lot of ways. And even like, one of the first bands that I really love is, Dave Matthews Band. And it's like, well, I mean, it's sort of centered around, I guess, somebody who can be considered a singer-songwriter. I mean, like you mentioned James Taylor, you know, super I mean, I like him. I liked him. I had a DVD of his, and I forget which one it was, but that I was more fascinated by his guitar playing
Mhm.
than maybe the songs and the singer-songwriter nature of his voice too, but so it's like bits and pieces of things like that. And I know what you mean, like singer-songwriter, it's like I used to have that on a business card of mine, and like 10, 12 years ago, and I one day I realized, like, well, what does that mean? Like,
Right.
I'm not like Diane Warren. I'm not writing songs for a living. I am a singer. I'm primarily a vocalist, I would say. It's like, so what does that really mean? And it's like kind of the same thing with, the genre thing. But I've always liked the idea of like, hey, this is one person. This is what they have to say. Um, and they can do it if they have to on with their voice and instrument, whether it be acoustic guitar or piano. I think that's sort of what drew me to it. And then Dave Matthews, and then obviously Mayer, like, we'll get into talking about him, I'm sure, but like my first introduction to John Mayer was really from the singer-songwriter angle. It was the thing that attracted me to him was the songs, the lyrics, and then secondary to that, the acoustic guitar parts that were accompanying those at the time.
Okay. What was your first experience with him? Like, what was your exposure?
I had a couple friends who in high school who were really, really good at like the LimeWire and I
Yeah.
forget what the other ones were called, but
Napster and
Napster,
all.
but trading. I mean, essentially, it's like tape trading, of the of
Mhm.
yesteryear, but in MP3 and burning CD, era. So I had a couple. There's two people in particular who were just like I don't know. One had an older brother, the other one was just like a computer guru, and like every week it'd be like, "Hey man, have you heard of this guy?" And then one week it was I mean, I distinctly remember like a Sharpie written across the burned disc. It says Jason Mraz, and it was some like very board, just direct to cassette tape board recording of him in a coffee house somewhere in Virginia. And then another week it was another person, another week was another person. And eventually, one of them was Mayer, and it was like, whoa, what is this? And that was the introduction, and that was pre Room for Squares. That was probably about the same time as Inside Wants Out, like somewhere
Okay.
in that time period. Because I remember being psyched when Room for Squares came out, because I'm like, oh, cool, full production versions of all these tunes that I've been listening to. So
Yeah, that's super cool that you were exposed that way, because I probably didn't, hear him, like, really hear his music until Room for Squares came out. I was in college, but I just remember there was I remember being in my house in college. I had, like, 2 roommates, and we were watching there was something on PBS, and it was like a documentary about him. He was super young.
yeah.
He was in a van. Some
Oh
young
yeah. Yeah.
college kid was, like, interviewing him, and they would show, like, clips of him playing live, and I was like, "Oh, dang, this guy's cool." And I remember my roommates who were super snobby music people
Yeah.
were like, "Ew, this guy is, like, too touchy-feely," and I was like,
Right.
"What are you talking about, man? This guy seems like he's great." So I don't think I had, any kind of live tapes, but I feel like that would be the way to experience him first.
Yeah, it was cool, man. I mean, like, there was, because you got like there were covers he was doing. I distinctly remember there was one file labeled impressions, and it was him running through this super hissy tape, like, and it's him doing like a vocal impression of like Eric Clapton, him doing an impression of, I remember it was Sean Mullins,
Nice.
like, and it was a couple of the guys like he ran in those circles with, but and it was funny, but then it was like, whoa, this guy like is an impressionist in some way, shape, or form. And then the next track is Neon, and it's the solo acoustic version of Neon. It's like, wait a minute, like what is he even doing, on the guitar with this? And it was really cool to you felt like you were like, it was cool because it was like I felt like we were all in this like group of like, oh, we know something other people don't, about
Yeah.
all these guys with guitars, essentially. It
Mhm.
wasn't just Mayer, it was other people too. So yeah.
That's awesome. Did you feel or are you still as enamored, or now that you've become a better musician, you're like, the mystification is a little bit gone because I understand what's going on, like more than the young you that heard that stuff.
Like of Mayer specifically, or just
Yeah.
music in general?
Yeah, Mayors,
Um,
like Neon, for instance. Like, I'm sure you've learned to play that now.
yeah, I mean, the demystification. I think where I'm at now with him is like, and I'm not going to sit here. I can't do, the majority of stuff. I can fake, some of his stuff, but like but I think I'm capable of, I'm capable of learning a lot of the parts, but I'm not capable of coming up with them. Like he can do things, and not just him. I mean, other guitar players and musicians as well, where it's like, I have so many like, oh man, why didn't I think of that? Like moments where it's like it's accessible, it moves people, it's memorable, it's melodic, but it's like I don't, that's the difference between like me and someone. So a
Yeah.
great songwriter is like, man, like you're not doing something that is just like, completely unattainable physically or technically. It's like unattainable, and like, wow, you were able to speak that through your instrument. Like that's amazing. So that part of it is still mystifies me. But some of the mechanics of like, what I was only hearing at the time, um, you know, have been demystified a little bit. Like where it's like, oh, okay, I see the percussive thing he's doing with his right hand, and I
Right.
adopted that. I see what he's doing, with something like Neon, and then eventually when I started to hear the electric guitar stuff, it's like, oh, interesting. Like that's a take on the Hendrix thing or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I feel like when I heard Heavier Things, I think that was obviously it was him like coming out of his body. Like he was bigger than my body. I'm like, he
yeah,
was
there you
like,
go.
I'm ready to like show what I actually want to do.
Mhm.
And are people ready for it? Because we're gonna ease them into it. And I just remember hearing that record and thinking, oh, okay, I see who he actually is.
Yeah.
Um, and then that leading into Continuum or whatever, like which I think when I was at Berkeley in '08 is when I started, and I think that's when he came to campus and he did that talk
Oh,
in the
yeah. Mhm.
DPC, and I was there, and I just remember his head was shaved and, like, he
Mhm.
had been out of the, public eye for a little while, and I just remember when I heard him talk about, the mechanics of songwriting and, like, you know, the life of being a songwriter and the light and the weight you carry album to album to album and stuff like that. It just felt like I'd never seen anybody be so real and vulnerable about something like that, and as somebody who spent my whole life trying to write a great song, it's like, you see somebody like him that even at his level, it's like, "No, I can't show anybody this, it's terrible," or like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Where I'm like, "Here, like, listen to this, is this okay? Is this okay?" You know what I mean? My whole life. But I just remember that will hold, like, a place in my heart the rest of my life as an experience, like, just like a concert would.
Sure.
Um, and I just remember that's the time when I really fell in love with what he does.
Yeah, I mean, he's and people, I get comments like, because if you're not aware and you're watching this, I have an entire like channel dedicated to everything Mayer. It's literally called that.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop it up.
Um, and people, oh, there you go, excellent. Um, people ask in various ways, some nicely and some not so nicely in the comment sections of those videos. Why would you be doing this? And I think a big part of it is like, man, I mean, for me growing up like in the era that I grew up with in there I have a hard time thinking of other people who are could stand alone on any of the pillars of like songwriting, guitar playing, um, hosting and being a personality, comedic personality, like, design and that if he could honestly do any one of those things without the other, but yet he is doing all of them at the highest level. There are few artists who are capable of that. And I think that's why to me, there's so many interesting things there because of that ability. And that's why, like, I don't write that on, I usually just don't respond, but that would be my
Yeah.
answer to anybody. Like, why would you do this? Cause I'm just fascinated. I'm still 25 years in listening to this guy and I'm still fascinated by his music, and his approach to it. So
And you got to talk to him too, right, at NAMM?
I did. Yeah, I
How
did.
was that scary, or was that like, "Oh my god, what am I going to ask? Like, what's the question that's gonna, like."
Uh, it was completely unexpected. I don't know how familiar you are with that story. or
Not
how?
a lot. All I knew, I just remember seeing it kind of unfold. So you'd have to tell me.
So it's funny you ask, like, it was for those who are watching this who don't know, which is I assume is everybody. I was lucky enough to be invited to the PRS 40th anniversary celebration that was surrounding NAMM, what would have been 2025, and it was at the House of Blues, and it was like 1,500 people, and it was YouTube people, media people, dealers, distributors, obviously people who work at PRS, and they're artists, and then there was a select group who were going to be performing, all-star group of people performing, capstoned by John Mayer, and it was a show though. I mean, it was a concert essentially. I'm out in the house, having some free hors d'oeuvres, getting ready to watch a 4-song, John Mayer show in a very small venue, backed up by Mark Lettieri's band, by the way, which was incredible.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mark. He was the VIP of that night, or MVP. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was incredible.
He's a
but
beast, dude.
yeah, he was a host of the second half. Tim Pierce was the host of the first half. So it was like,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. So I mean, people jokingly prior to were like, what are you going to do if you meet him? I'm like, I'm not going to be meeting him because it's literally 1,500 people with security. Like I'm going to a show. Like it'd be like saying I'm going to a John Mayer concert. Like, what are you going to do if you meet him? Like, that's not going to happen. So I wasn't really prepared with anything, but oddly enough, I had a buddy who was down close, and I was sitting in the back, and he's like, hey, there's a spot in the second row. You should come down here. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Well, he convinced me. I finally came down there and watched the show. Mayer gave a really nice toast to Paul Reed Smith. The show's wrapping up, and everyone's standing and clapping. He just brought the house down with gravity, and he points out in the audience, and he goes, I want to talk to you. And he's pointing in my general direction, and I'm just clapping like an idiot. And I look over my shoulder, and I'm just like, and he's like, no, I want to talk to you. And then it became very apparent he was talking to me, and I'm like, me? And he's like, yeah, you. And through a series of getting me through security and Bav at PRS and making this happen, apparently he had seen some videos that I had done and knew who I was.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, he pulled me back, and he gave me 15 minutes of his time. It was just he and I talking. I mean, there was like all the PRS artists are just walking around and hanging out, and Paul's there, David Grissom. Like, I'm like, and he's like just having a full-on conversation with me, being super cool, very complimentary, and like, I mean, like 2 times I was like, dude, if you have to go, like, please, like, don't let me. He's like, no, man, I want to talk to you. And I'm like, so to answer your initial question, like, did you have anything to prepare to ask him? No, my mind was blank. Like,
I bet, dude.
Yeah. So it was one of the more surreal experiences of my life. And that was never the goal. Like people, because I would see, I posted a video about it, like when it happened, and people were like, oh, achievement unlocked or whatever. I'm like, dude, that was not it wasn't like my journey to meeting John Mayer. It was, simply just appreciating the art, and sometimes gear too. But, so yeah, that's that story, which sounds unbelievable, but it did happen. I promise you.
It's so crazy, Tom. I mean, I can't even imagine. Like, that would be like me meeting Mike McCready and being able to have 15 minutes to talk to him. It's crazy to be. The point is, meet your heroes, folks. Because I think so many people are like, don't meet your heroes, you're gonna be disappointed. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
I've met many of them right now in the past couple of years, like their trucks and so forth, and I'm just like, I could not have had a more pleasurable experience.
Yeah, same. And I can't speak highly enough of him. And it sounds, because it's like, oh, you're a Mayer fanboy. It's like, yeah, I am. But like, I honestly, like, he was just, also just to do, I'm trying to like, why why bother, John? Like,
Right.
Could have just been like, dude, great, love you, and I've been like, oh, thanks. Like, that
would have been enough for you probably to live on the rest of your life.
It was enough just to be there and watch the show. Like, so the fact that he took the time out to do that, and it was, it was not convenient. Like, I didn't have a backstage pass, and the security was super tight, and there was a snafu with that, trying to get me back there. And, so there's a lot of trouble that multiple people, including him, went through at a time where it's like just not necessary. And a lot of things going on. It's like I think that speaks volumes. And then the conversation we had was just super. It was amazing. Like he was, great guy. Like just felt like I've known him for forever. And so it was really cool. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, like I'm sure there's ways that it can go south meeting your heroes, but like in my experience, especially doing YouTube and stuff, like the people that I've met, yourself included, I mean, we're just meeting, virtually right now, but I mean, like, do it. It's awesome. Like it's the best part of any of this is meeting people,
100%.
getting to know them. So
There's nothing better. I don't think there's
yeah,
anything better. I don't care how many views a video gets. I
no,
don't care about the gear. Well, I care about the gear if I love it. But I don't, you know what I mean? It's not about that. It's about the community, and the community
definitely.
is people, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
100% I agree with you. All right, so let's so everybody, if you get a chance after you watch this, head on over to Tom's Everything Mayor channel, subscribe to that, check it out. There's a bunch of great content. If you're a fan of John Mayer, you'll love it. Let's talk about, so I'm curious about the Premier guitar stuff too,
yeah.
and how that started. And so how old were you when you started playing guitar?
I was probably trying to think, like 13. I want to
Okay.
say, yeah, about 13.
Did you
Um,
formally study with somebody for a few
yeah,
years,
I
or?
took lessons like at the local, guitar shop. With a guy named Eric who is life changing in so many ways, in so many positive ways. Just like he taught me as much about how to be a working musician and gigging musician as he did guitar. And honestly, he probably taught me more about that stuff than because he's to his core, that's what he still is today. Great guitar player, but like he's just working, grinding musician, and it's like I learned a lot of that type of thing from him. So yeah, I started. I want to say 13. Yeah, I was about 13. I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, 13. Yeah.
Okay. So study for a few years, and then did you at some point, okay, I'm gonna break off and like learn on my own and start
Yeah.
studying? Okay.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, I was more concerned and more interested in songwriting, um, and the guitar. Like I didn't necessarily want to be a guitar player first and foremost. I was definitely more interested in. I mean, I was into learning guitar and playing guitar, but it was as a vehicle to like, well, I want to play other people's songs. I want to write my own songs. I want to sing over top of these things and occasionally play a guitar solo, but more so come up with cool parts that can become songs. Like that was really the driving force behind it. It wasn't until later that I was like, oh, there's a lot more I could learn here on
I
this
was gonna
instrument.
say it's too bad that you ended up being a great guitarist too, if you didn't mean to. So
I mean, like I have a joke with a few musician friends. One, Alex, shout out to Alex if you happen to see this. But like I always, it's like an excuse. It's like, well, before I pick up the guitar, just so you know, I'm primarily a vocalist. So it's like, oh, he's pretty good for a singer. Like that's kind of like my hope is like, let me just like set expectations as low as possible here. So
it's not a bad plan, but I mean, I don't think you'd have to do that. You can roll in there. You're a great player, man.
oh, thanks.
So how did you end up, getting into the education sphere with Premier Guitar? Because I'm sure, being a singer and a songwriter and a guitarist, and get your YouTube channel
Yeah.
as well. So everybody besides the Everything Mayor, Tom also has a YouTube channel. You should go check that out too.
I do. Thank you.
Subscribe to both.
Yeah, there you go.
For everything. For everything Tom.
Everything Tom. Yeah. Yes. That's
But
my ego.
but for Premier Guitar, like how did that happen? Like how did you stumble into working with those cats?
Yeah, I mean, stumble is kind of the right term. So as we all did, after the pandemic or during the pandemic, I mean, we turned to the digital medium. My wife and I were moving in the middle of all that. So like we lived in a townhouse apartment kind of thing. And one of the two bedrooms was like my studio. And I didn't really have a good spot to do this type of thing. And then we moved and it was a whole deal. So I was a little bit later on the wave of people, like kind of shifting to online stuff, but all my calendar of gigs just completely disappeared, as everybody felt that who's in this business. And but I had a YouTube channel, and it was something that I hadn't really curated very heavily. It was really a repository for covers. And I'd use it, it was kind of a reel for like corporate gigs or whatever. Um, but I went through different periods of time, like 2009, 10, 11, like went real hard on YouTube covers, and was trying to do that thing. And then I hit it again in like 2016. I put out a bunch of covers but it was all that type of stuff. So I had amassed, I don't know, like 4 or 5,000 subscribers, but and they were scattered about, and none of them were there for the same reason. One person was there for a cover of one song, another person's there and I didn't know anything about like the mechanics of YouTube. All I knew is I got like $6 a month from cover song royalties, and I thought I was doing really well. So once the pandemic happened, I was like, I have this channel, it's monetized, it's totally just there and nothing's being done with it. I should do something. What should I do? Well, I started really by just like talking about, it was right around when Sabrock came out for John Mayer. And I just started talking about, that record coming out, and a couple of the videos kind of caught on. And then, I made the fatal mistake on YouTube of being like, hey, if they thought that was interesting from me, I can talk about anything and they'll listen to me. And it was like, oh no, like that's not how it works at all. So flash forward, probably about like 8 months. I think it was like January of 22. I want to say. I think that lines up. Yeah. I did a video about the SE Silver Sky versus the American made one, and I didn't have. I think I had my Silver Sky at the time, but I did not have an SE. And I just literally was like reading spec sheets and talking about it. I was super sick, and like you could hear my voice, and it was just, but the video did really well, and for whatever reason, I didn't play any guitar in the video, which is hysterical.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's like stop playing guitar and views will increase apparently. But yeah, so that video did. I mean, it wasn't like a viral video, but I think it was resourceful for people, or it was a good resource for people who are looking at both instruments and comparing the two. So PRS reached out to me, Jean there, and she's like, "Hey, we saw your video. We really liked it. If you have any questions about the guitar, let me know." I was like, "Oh my God, I've made it," kind of thing. And my question was, "Hey, can I get an SE to check out and try?" And I was like, "I'm going to just shoot for the moon here. There's no way they're going to say yes." I had no idea how the gear space on YouTube worked at this time. Zero clue. And they're like, "Yeah, what color do you want?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." So that kind of kicked off the gear thing. I was like, because I'd watched gear videos and I was reasonably familiar with some of the guys and girls doing that. And I didn't really at the time aspire to do it, but I was like, oh, this could be maybe the direction I take the channel in. So I slowly started to do that sort of thing, which led to one of the guys he's just on the podcast stuff right now. He used to be on their editorial staff, but shout out to Jason Shadrick at PG. And he reached out to me and said, "Hey man, would you ever be interested in, doing like a lesson video, or if we have a pedal or something, we'll send you the pedal. Can you turn a video around for us in whatever style you work in? It'll just, just say it's for PG and we'll pay you, whatever the rate was at the time." And I was like, I've made it again. Like here I am. But that was super sporadic and it was like, whatever. But that kind of got the ball rolling into the gear space, and I really dove hard into that. And the channel started to do, relatively okay with that. And I started to learn that space. I went out to NAMM for the first time. Started to learn about just how and what the possibilities were in that world, and as a nice supplement to like the gigging side of things too. And from that, it got to a point where I was doing more for Premier Guitar. I was doing my own stuff too. And they approached me and said, "Hey, would you like to, be sort of not like exclusive where I can't like do other videos. I can, but like, would you like to do all of your gear stuff with us and kind of be like a, secondary personality on in that whole world?" And I was like, wow, yeah. I took a minute to think about it, but ultimately said yes. And I've done coming up on the end of 2 years of doing like 4 videos a month for them.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's been really cool. I mean, they're amazing. They're super supportive. They give me, you know, freedom to, within the construct of what makes sense for Premier Guitar, like freedom to do stuff and be me and come up with ideas of how to present certain things. And yeah, it's been so again, it's like, you said stumble. I won't say that it was like just by accident, but it was certainly not like I didn't in 2021 when I sat down for like and said, okay, I want to do something on my YouTube channel. It was not like ultimately I want to work for, guitar publication or do things in that vein. It was kind of just like, well, let's see what happens. I'll try this, I'll try that, I'll try this, I'll try that. And it's sort of blossomed into all these other things. And here I am talking to you now.
Dude, such is the music industry, right? Like,
Yeah,
you
it's
kind of have to like diversify as much as you
yeah,
can.
and it's such an adventure, man. Like it's hard. I mean, I know like the ups and downs of especially YouTube and metrics and stuff. Like it's just so, you can have a bad gig, but there's usually like a redeeming quality to that gig, or maybe it's just like a bad set. And it's like, man, the next set just makes you forget about the bad set. But it's like for some reason, like when you have a video that doesn't perform correctly or well, or a comment that just sticks with you or something, it's so toxic and it hurts and it sticks with you. It's hard, man.
Dude, man. Here's
Yeah.
the thing is like, I remember talking to someone else. I remember talking to this famous guitar player about this stuff, and he was like, well, just know this. Anytime you get a negative comment, it means you've made it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
people are like jealous of what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. And dude, Tom, we have to share our most favorite ones because I had one years ago that was my wife cracked up because I had these shelves behind me, right?
Mhm.
And I'm a big nerd for like Marvel and Star Wars too. So like I had a bunch of Pop Funkos on those shelves. Now I only had 2 shelves at that time. There wasn't 5. And this guy wrote like, look at this dude. I can't remember what he wrote. This is like 30-year-old guy in his parents' basement playing guitar with like toys behind him. And my wife was like, that's hilarious because little does he know you're 40.
What a compliment, right? Yeah. What a
And
nice
you own your house.
Yeah.
And,
Right. Yeah.
and I was just like, yeah. And like, that's the moment I was like, yeah, I mean, this shit's so stupid. It's like,
Yes.
you can't let that stuff get to you. It's just
No,
funny at this point.
because I mean, I don't know what it is about it. I mean, like, it's so easy to fall down that rabbit hole. But then again, I go back to what we said before, the people that I have met, and I'm not talking about like John Mayer. Meeting John Mayer is great, but like I have so many friends like that I've met, like true friends now, like from doing this. It's just like any of those comments, like it's like, okay, cool, whatever comes with the territory. But like I have,
Right.
is you have a real life, like you described, that's what actually matters, family. And but then there's like within this sphere, like just the stuff that I've gained is just the people that I've become friends with and have working relationships, and companies have been so supportive. And it's like, yeah, okay, you can
It
go ahead,
far
make the
supersedes
comment.
yeah, it supersedes the trolls, like,
Yes, definitely.
100%, like,
Yeah.
so here's a funny thing too, this is what brought me to you to, like, remember to ask you to be on the show. So, about a month ago, yeah, mid-January, I ordered a Line 6 Stadium XL,
Okay.
and, this is my gigging amp. I have a really nice gigging amp.
You do.
And I was like, you know what? This seems like the product that I will finally gel with. And I ordered it, got it, immediately loved it. Like, just head over heels. I'm taking it to my gig for the first time this Saturday. I'm taking
Nice.
it to a gig. And so I was like, you know what though? I need a like an FR cab. I need something that will sound good on stage because I still need to push air.
Yeah.
And I still need to feel that. I'd be probably fine putting it in the, the mains and having it in my in-ears if I want to bring my in-ear shit. But I'm not going to do that. And then I saw you post about the Fender FR.
I'll tell you why I'm laughing in a second, but go ahead.
And I was like, oh, that looks like, and I think you probably just had the like regular black Fender one that looked like a regular deluxe.
Yeah.
But then when I went down the rabbit hole and I was like, oh, damn, there's like a tweed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to get the tweed. So I sold a bunch of pedals and I got that. And I love that thing.
Is it cool? Now
It's
I'm asking, I'm laughing, and here's why I'm laughing. Talk about troll comments and not playing guitar in a video. I'm assuming you're referencing the video I did on that. Is that you're
yes.
okay?
Mhm.
Yes. It's like that was one of dude, I've never played through one. Okay. This is I know, and this is that's one of those videos that I've like contemplated unlisting because I literally now everything in the video that I said, I was genuinely saying. I didn't say that I played through one. I was super excited, mostly because I'm like, this thing looks like an amp,
Mhm.
which is awesome because some of them look super dorky and I don't like that aesthetic. Like this looks like an amp, you know? Um, but I didn't play it and I still haven't played one. And people have ripped me in the comments. You didn't even play it, man. But it's like arguably that's something where it's like I can't demo that for you. It's like, what do you want me to do? Mic the FR? I mean, like, I don't know how to make
Yeah.
that translate across a screen, but I'm laughing because it's that video is done like in stupid. It again, it just proves like how YouTube is so unpredictable because it's like I didn't play any guitar. I didn't even I literally was just telling people about the product that no one paid me to tell anybody about, and I was just excited about the spec, and I was just like, "This seems really cool." Like,
It is.
you know what I mean? So now you're telling me that my excitement was warranted.
Well, warranted enough that I was like, I'm gonna give it a try, you know.
Yeah,
And there's always like the backup plan that I could have returned it and got my money
sure,
back through
sure.
Sweetwater, but I wanted something like you're saying, like I didn't want the head rush. I don't want something that looks like a wedge.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
they
wanted
work. I'm sure they sound great. I mean, even Line 6 makes a version of that. I forget what they call it, but
the power
like
cab.
have something that looks like
Right.
it should is like, I mean, it's like, that's awesome because then it's like,
I'll
yeah,
text you after the gig and let you know how it did
please
with the
do.
band. But
Yeah.
I think that I know it's loud enough because I've cranked it in here and
Yeah.
I cranked it at practice too. And the guys were like, damn. And what sucks is when you play through something like the Helix at a rehearsal for the first time and all of your bandmates are used to you being a tone junkie and playing a two rock and like
Mhm.
having a like big pedal board that you like cultivate and blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
then they hear that and they're like, dude, that sounds really good, man. And I'm like, ah.
Yeah. 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 I
So,
know.
but
Yeah.
man, I'm telling you, like, I'm not gonna stop playing my two rock, but like the stadium sounds pretty amazing and it feels really good.
Does it? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know when you started to mention the stadium. I don't know if you're going to go down the Steve Sterlacci road or because you've had Steve on, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
he was on that
Yeah.
was before I bought this too, so he was
Yeah.
like, "Let me know because once you
Yeah.
get it, I wanna have you on my thing and we can talk about it." So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's an episode I want to see.
yeah.
Shout out to the Silent Stage.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Um,
awesome.
he is. Steve's one of those, and he's become a very good friend too from all this, which is super awesome. So, but yeah, so that's. I mean, I'm actually very interested. Please do text me on Saturday. I want to know.
Yeah, dude,
Deal.
it sounds it's funny because when I got it, I was up till, like, 2 in the morning some nights just making presets and, like,
Yeah.
diving in and, like, crafting, like, the signal flow and setting up the amp and the different cabinets and the mic placement, all that. And primarily speaking, I don't really mess with the mic or the mic placements. Like, the new Agora stuff sounds
Right.
amazing.
They
Like, I
kind
don't
of
feel like
nail it. They
yeah,
nail it for you. Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, "I'm not gonna touch this," but, like,
Now, did you find yourself? Were you trying to recreate your pedal board with like
no.
that flow? You're going fresh. Just
I
okay.
don't so some of the stuff, like, for a long period of time, I was using Univibes, but I got to a place where I was like, "I can't make this cool because Jimmy already did it," and, like, I feel like if I use this more than once a night
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? It's feel like
Right.
he's just trying to be Hendrix, he plays the
Yeah.
Strat, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I sold all my Univibes, but now with this, what I do is I mix the Leslie and the Univibe
Oh, cool.
to get a different sound,
Yeah.
that I can still love and everything, but I do really enjoy having that expression pedal and just, creating all the parameters around, like, harmonic trim. I can, like, get it to speed
Yeah.
up, slow down, things like that. And it sounds so I mean, it exceeded all of my expectations
That's
from mine.
cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And coming from you, I feel like that's a ringing endorsement. Like, you
Dude,
know. I mean,
People were like sending me messages on YouTube, like putting comments, "Can I buy your presets?" I'm like, "What are you even talking about?" Like, do people do that?
they do. I know, right? It's a
So
thing, man. Yeah.
yeah, and I think the thing is, and I was talking to someone a week later, they're like, "But here's the thing, is like, I'm not trying to age you, but like, you're older, you have mature ears, you've been playing through a lot of different gear, you know how it's supposed to sound."
Yeah.
Some people don't. They don't know
Right.
what a great amp is supposed to sound like, and if you capture that, people were like, "Oh, that'll be easy. I'll just buy that," you know?
Yeah. Yeah. The work has
So,
been done for you.
maybe I'll do that at some point,
You should.
but
I
do you
would. I
have
mean,
any modelers?
I have some. I have a HX Stomp. I have a Nano Cortex.
How's
Uh,
that? Is that easy to use?
mm, the Nano Cortex.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, there's a tactile thing on that I really like because you can reach down and there's EQ, there's gain, there's knobs, there's no screen, there's little LEDs that indicate things. You got to kind of know your way around that. Um, I like it because it lacks those things, and you can it's got 2 foot switches, and that's it. Like it's super. You don't get lost. I mean, you can definitely get lost in the app, like to dial stuff in and load presets or whatever. But I'm not a big like it's. I try to keep it as simple as possible, like because I just get like I feel like I need to be a better guitar player. I don't need to be a better like pedal board builder or a modeler programmer. Like it's like I just need something that sounds good. I need some, certain depends on what I'm doing. Like, it's like I have all the things I don't have I have the ability to make whatever sound I need to make, and it's nothing really out there. So I'm not like a huge modeler person. I get sent modelers to do stuff with I have like that right there is the Head Rush core, very blurry in the
Oh, yeah,
background,
yeah, yeah.
which is cool as hell. I mean, it's really cool. It sounds good. It's got some interesting things in it. Um, but yeah, I don't, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not like a super strong in either camp. I'm like whatever makes sense for the thing I'm doing is the thing I want to bring.
Yeah,
You know,
that's all it should be.
it's like I did like musical, like I do like a musical theater like review type show, but a couple of the tunes in it I play solo electric guitar, and it's like, do I want to bring an amp and my pedal board? No, I'll just bring the HX Stomp little rig I have, and that I
Mhm.
have because I'm using literally one sound for that. Like, and it's like, and that's the sound. It's there. We're on in ears. It's one song, 2 songs. It works great. Doesn't look cool. There's no amp on stage, but whatever. Who cares? So,
Have you tried the Mayer archetype stuff yet? Did you play through that yet?
yeah, I'm looking at the icon on my computer right now as the 14-day trial has expired.
Mm.
It doesn't do anything now, but I played through. It was great. I mean, it's super cool. I mean, it was, it's the thing.
Mhm.
Um, it being on the computer only at the moment, like for my workflow of what I'm doing, like I don't really have any use for that. Like I have the Mayer thing, on a pedal board if I need it.
Right.
And it's like, but it's great. I mean, like I did a video on that where it was like, it's the problem with it is it's just like, it's further painting me into the John Mayer inspired Jimi Hendrix, double
Yeah.
chop strat stuff like corner where it's like this is not helping me break out of that box. I need to listen to other things and it's like it makes me want to play like 3 John Mayer songs and specifically that I'm always playing. It's like no, I got to get out of that. Like and it doesn't help me with that. But it's great. I mean, it sounds amazing. It's cool.
Okay. Yeah, I
What
wanna check it
what
out just
it's
because.
worth it. It's worth the I think they're still doing the 14-day trial thing.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll check it out.
It's the full thing. There's no restrictions whatsoever. It just expires after 14 days.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
might check it out.
Yeah,
Well,
it's worth it.
just speaking of that, before we get to the lightning round get down,
Yeah. Mhm.
um, so, like, you said, like, I don't wanna get painted in that box, which I totally respect and understand. Um, where are you now, like, with listening to music? Like, what's firing you up right now?
I mean, this is people are gonna probably like you can hear the eye rolls as I say this, but like I'm not super into the true jam band, because I like, I mean, Dave Matthews Band, I feel like gets lumped into jam bands, but I don't, I think they're
I would call them. I would put
yeah,
them in
I
there.
think
Yeah.
I don't think they do it in the way that like the Dead or Fish, like they're not as they can get experimental where it's like we don't know where this is going. But a lot of times it's pretty structured, I feel like jams
Mhm.
and stretching. But I want to go that direction. And the eye roll thing comes as like, well, yeah, of course, because your boy John Mayer joined Dead and Company and became obsessed with, but honestly, like I will fully admit that like prior to him joining Dead and Co. and whatever that was, 2014 or 15, my knowledge of Grateful Dead was the Touch of Grey music video
Mhm.
and Sugary, like, and that was it. Like, honestly, like, that was, I'm not afraid to admit that. But as through him, like, I'm like, look at I mean, like, it's that type of the ability to play over changes like that, the ability to, and Trey too, like, it's, that's kind of what excites me is where it's like, that's music that I haven't really listened to a lot, but I'm listening to it more. It's certainly, I don't play that way, but I feel like learning those types of styles and listening to guitar players like Trey or Jerry Garcia, or Mayer, I guess, like, in that mode, would be hugely beneficial, not because I want to do that, but because I think it would help me grow as a guitar player.
100%, dude.
So, that's
100%.
kind of where I'm at right now. So,
Well, there is a vast ocean that you
and
could
that's why too,
swim
it's like
in.
I'm never going to run out of stuff to learn.
No, no, dude.
you know,
No.
so
And that's the thing is like, I'm gathering you've listened to the Cornell show, the famous Cornell show.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Because
Yep,
like
yeah, I've
that is
started to dive into the universe and yes,
okay, because that is like the first show. I'm like, for anybody that's new to the Dead, I'm like,
right.
just listen to this. This is like the most famous show.
Yep. Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, Jerry is one of the greatest players to ever live because of what he could do, whether it's bluegrass or whether it's playing with the Dead or whether it's
Mhm.
playing jazz or whatever it was. Like he was far ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's like everybody's like, Billy Strings and whoever you want to talk about
Sure.
will dip their toe in every single genre and try every hat on. But he was doing that for the love of doing it before anybody, I feel like, was willing to go there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just amazing to go back and listen to that stuff and to hear that coming from my brother's room 2 doors over when I was in middle school and
Right.
being enraptured by it. Like, I feel so lucky. I talk about my brother all the time. My brother could give 2 shits. Did I talk about it about him, but about how much he's meant to me in my life, like for growing into being a guitar player and a musician. But it's true. It's when you get hit and struck by something like Michael Jackson
Yeah.
or the Dead or whoever, Lionel Richie for that matter,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's on. It's just in you and it's a disease and it gets stuck in you. And it's like, we just like every day you have to consume something, some part of
Mhm.
it,
Yeah.
or it will consume you, I guess. Well, let's do the lightning round get down, buddy, because I don't want to keep you. You got to get back to your family. So
Yeah.
we're gonna cruise an altitude of 112 BPM. I don't even know if I should ask you this first question because I know what you're gonna say. But the first question is always the same: Lennon or McCartney?
Oh, Lennon.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say Harrison.
Well, you boxed me in. Harrison.
People have done that before. I've been like, all right, I'll accept it.
Yeah.
Helix or Fractal?
Oh, I gotta go Helix only because I haven't played through Fractal. So
All right, High Five or Handshake?
Handshake.
Fuzz Face or Big Muff?
Buzzface.
All right. Most underrated effect out of these two: tremolo or phaser?
Tremolo.
Who is a musician that has passed away that you wish was still alive making music?
George Harrison.
There you go. Mint or gum?
Mint flavored gum.
See it in the theater or wait for it to come on streaming?
Oh, theater.
Okay. Winter or summer Olympics?
Ooh, God. Winter Olympics only because they just ended and I watched some of them.
All right, and here's the last one, Tom.
Okay.
If you could take one album and erase it from your memory, just so you could go back and experience it for the first time again, what album would that be?
We talked about it before, Stormfront by Billy Joel, in the car with my dad.
Oh man, okay, cool. What do you love so much about that record besides the fact that there's like this nostalgia memory?
Honestly, like the song Down Easter Alexa.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
that
dude.
anchors it for me. And I've gotten into like not arguments but discussions with people who are they're not Billy Joel haters, but they're like, man, like the albums as a whole aren't, there's always some stinkers on there. And I'm like,
Well, I mean, come on.
okay, like I guess, but like the high points are like so high. Like, it's like,
Dude, I mean, how can you say that about The Stranger too? Like, you
right,
listen
yeah.
to
I'm
that
like,
record, you're like,
I've listened to that record down many times and I've never been disappointed,
no,
in
dude.
skips, so it's like so probably that one, only because like and I would also want to transport myself back to being 7 or whatever I was in hearing it, that's like I want to do that again for sure.
Here's another question I sometimes ask because I love this question for the lightning round get down. But would you rather time travel or space travel?
Time travel, probably.
Would you go forward? Would you go back?
I'd go back, but not because I would want to like redo things, but because I would want to experience something that has happened in the past, some cool thing or something,
Like Woodstock or something?
Yeah, probably. I mean, like since we're in the music mode, yeah. I mean, something along those lines, like concert for Bangladesh or Woodstock or
The Last Waltz.
yeah, something to be in a room like but with the knowledge that I've traveled back to, like, wow, I'm seeing it now. Like that would be cool.
That's amazing. Well, so Tom, now that we've reached the other side of everything here, everything at home with Mark, not everything with Mayor, everything Mayor, or everything with Tom.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you'd like to plug about the channel? You got anything fun stuff coming up gear wise? Anything that you can mention?
Yeah. So I mean, check me out on Premier Guitar, their YouTube channel. You'll find me there relatively often. I film and submit 4 videos a month, but they don't always post for. Sometimes it's like posted at a different cadence. But you'll see me there. That the Everything Mayor podcast. Like if you're a John Mayer fan, certainly you will like it. If you're not, I've gotten to do a couple interviews, which I think the casual listener or even non-John Mayer fan would be interested in. I got one with Don Was and one with Paul Reed Smith. I'm hoping to do more of that because it was super fun. Yeah, and then my personal channel, which is kind of like the vehicle that got me to all these places, has been not left behind, but it's tough to juggle three places, to produce content for. But there's still, everything's still there. All my gear reviews, the video that Mark referenced about the Fender FR cab.
That's
the infamous video. I have other gear demos that I'm very proud of that I actually do play the gear, and so you can go check those out too. But yeah, I mean, just that's it. Find me on Instagram. Instagram is just sort of there. I feel like I'm more of a consumer than anything on Instagram. But I can't thank you enough, man. This is such an honor, and I love what you do. And I think you're really good at interviewing people and making these things interesting. And that is a skill in and of itself. As I quickly realized in trying to interview 2 like heavyweights last year. Man. So you do a really good job with it. And if anybody happens to be watching this who has not checked out any of your other shows, like please go through the list. Do what I did. I'm just like, yes, Reeve Carney, 100%, absolutely going there. And then you like occasionally see a friend of yours, like, oh, cool. And it's like it's the list of people I want to check out who you've talked to is so long. I haven't gotten through all of them yet because you guys.
Thanks.
I can't believe my name is going to be like in that list. It's just ridiculous.
Oh, dude. Yeah, man. No, it's an honor to have you, buddy. I mean, I love talking to everybody. Everybody's got a story. That's the whole point here, right?
Yeah.
So
cool. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Thank you, Tom. Everybody else, thanks for hanging out. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And we'll see you next time.